Welcome to Scott and Al Talk New York Baseball. How you doing, Scott?
Good afternoon, Al. How are you today?
Well, I'm good, man.
Good.
We're back.
Yeah, we made it back to a second show.
Episode 2. All right, so in the first episode, not that long ago, we got to talk about a little bit about actually myself. I brought myself into the story about how I became a Yankee fan in the 80s going to BBR, which is a boys club in Manhattan. But I want to know how you became a Met fan. Now, how did this tragedy happen?
A tragedy?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a tragedy, but when I was a kid, and I used to go to my grandmother's house. I had my grandmother lived in the same house, and she was always watching the Met games in her room. So I went in there, and she'd call me in, and I'll sit there and I'd watch Dave Kingman, John Stern, all the Mets from the 70s, and she had good and plenty's for me. Kid, I was probably like
that works.
7. Well, I don't like good and plenty's anymore.
Anymore? I'm sorry.
But we started watching the Met games, and then
Nice.
I was more of a hockey fan. Growing up, I played hockey, and the Islanders were winning the cup. So, and then around the 80s, 83, when they got, when Huey Brooks was on the team and Mookie started coming, and, they started looking like a decent team. I started getting to the Mets a lot.
Oh, yeah, that's all it takes.
Yeah.
Oh, championship. One championship and you're hooked. Especially at a young
It was
age.
a couple years before the championship, but,
But then you're hooked. That seals the deal, always
when
will.
86 came along.
Oh, 86.
Well,
86. That was a good year for you guys, 86.
86, that was a good little stretch they had there, from 85 to 86, 87, 88. They had a good stretch running there. Like I said in the last show, they should have, they could have won a couple more World Series.
Yeah.
But they didn't, like you reminded me.
Yeah, and I'm glad they didn't. I'm going to remind you of that also. I'm glad they didn't.
Well, one is good. One is good. I was happy, and then I just kept following them over the years, My wife was a big Met fan.
That helps.
So we watched Met games every night.
That's awesome.
Came home from work, we turned on the Met games, and that's how I got into the Met games. But I got a question for you.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, being a big Yankee fan, right?
Yes.
86, we were just talking about.
86.
They played your arch rivals, the Red Sox.
Yeah, that was a hard one.
So who are you pulling for?
That's a hard one. Okay, before I answer that, is there, and people always say, some people say that they're Met and Yankee fans, but they just say they're just New York fans. So I call those people frauds. So I believe you should be a fan of one, because you can't just be a fan of one, and if they lose, tomorrow I'm good, because the Mets won tomorrow they're gonna win, but yesterday the Yankees lost, so you can't do that. That doesn't work for me. Right. That's just get out the way. But there are going to be some people out there who just root for New York because they're not really baseball fans. So all right, so root for your team, root for your town, or your state, whatever the case may be. But now to answer your question, that's a hard one. Because you got Boston. You got Boston.
Everybody out there is waiting, too.
Because you got Boston.
Well, we know you don't like Boston.
Boston, everything. Can't like Boston, everything. So, that World Series, I have to go for the Mets.
Now, how old were you about in 86?
86. I have to do math now. 76, 71, 81, that's 10. So, I was born in 71, so 81. So, I'm over 10, but 5 more years, 15, or something around there,
Okay, 15.
Yeah, teenager, So, I've been looking at the Mets. I'm a big Yankee fan. Struggled because they couldn't do anything since I became a fan. And here I am watching the Mets. But I've watched the Yankee Boston all the time. And I saw how we hate Boston. And I grew to hate Boston. So now I have to root for the Mets. But now I could switch that. I say I'm not really rooting for the Mets. I'm rooting for Boston to lose.
I got you. Well, you should have stayed on board.
No, I was rooting for Boston to lose. Let's put that right now. Let's put
They
it right.
did, from the comeback kids.
The comeback kids. That's right. But it's almost like in your situation, because the Yankees won the World Series in 09 against Philly. So I could throw that right back at you as well. Who you voting for in that series?
I didn't watch it. No, I was pulling for Philly. Same thing, Philly to lose.
That's our enemy. You got to root for the enemy.
Same concept. I was rooting Philly to lose. I did not want them to win because I don't want to hear those people in Philly. I was glad they lost last year.
That it works. It just happens. You got to go that way, because New York is still our state. We still live in New York. It's not our team, but when they're against your enemy, you have to it's okay. You got to pass on those. You got to pass on those. Now I got a funny story about that '86, because in '86 when that games, I think game 6 it was, when the Mookie and Bill Buckner situation happened there.
Mookie would have been safe.
Okay, yeah. Well, yeah,
Mookie says he would have beat him.
Yes, he does say that.
They're good friends now.
We don't know. Well,
not anymore.
Not anymore.
They turned into good friends.
Well, yeah.
But Buckner's gone.
Bill Buckner's not with us. Yes. So, because I'm not a fan of either one, I got to meet them. Now, when I met them, I'm not a fan of either one, so I had to have a story there. Now, my little story that I'm gonna throw at you is the fact that Curb Your Enthusiasm did a series. Larry David has a show, Curb Your Enthusiasm. I don't know if you watched it.
Love it.
Okay, there was
always getting in trouble.
There was an episode in there where Bill Buckner was in the episode, and then in this episode, throughout the whole show, they made fun of him not being able to catch anything because the ball went between his legs and during that game. So they'll throw keys at him, he would just miss it. Mm-hmm. They'll throw everything they'll throw at him, he just can't catch because he just can't catch it. Bill Buckner was a good sport about it. He took it well, but toward the end,
my favorite Met.
He should be your favorite Met. Yes, he definitely is your Met. So, but toward the end of the show, there was a burning a house on the second story, and there was a woman with a baby, and she had to throw the baby out the window. And guess who caught that baby?
Bill.
Bill Buckner caught that baby. He did not let that baby drop. He caught it. So when I met Bill Buckner and Mookie Wilson, I brought them a picture. And in that picture, I have Bill Buckner catching the baby, stepping on first. And so I told Mookie, if that would have been a baby,
you would have been out.
You would not have had that ring. So that's what I said. Now I know that's not the answer because you don't know what would have happened in Game 7, all that other stuff. I understand it, but it was funny. I just had to throw it in there. It was funny. Actually, I have it right here. This is the picture right here.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. You see Bill Buckner from the show, and it was just a funny. And Bill Buckner, unfortunately, at that time when I met him, he wasn't all there. He had dementia, so he wasn't really all there. But Mookie was, and Mookie was like,
I would have beat him. I would have beat him.
Yeah. No, Mookie was like, yeah, okay, whatever you say. He was like, dang. He just signed his name. He didn't want to hear that story, but it was fun. So that's my little story.
Did he
there.
have his ring on when he signed it?
He did have his ring on. He did.
It's really stick to Bill, wasn't it?
He did. Yeah.
Really sticking it to Bill.
Dude, that's pretty hard, right? It's not kind of hard. You're right next to this guy all the time signing these autographs, and you got to see that ring all the time. That's hard. But he took it. He's a champ, man. He took it like that. He's a good guy. He was a good guy, and I'm glad that he didn't, live his whole life.
I'm glad he didn't drop the baby.
He definitely dropped the baby. But I'm also glad that the Boston fans, gave him some love at the end. That was good. They came back to that because they won that because they ended up winning a championship. If they never would have won a championship, Buckner would have been enemy for life.
It took him a while to win a championship after that.
Yeah, I think 04 was it? Was it 04? I don't remember the exact year, but it was a while since
close.
'86. That was a long time since '86. But so he took a lot of hate for a long time. So
they forgave him.
Finally.
I think he came out through the first pitch after they won the World Series. Yeah, next season, the following season.
Yes, I remember them inviting him back because he was definitely gone. He didn't want to be no part of Boston. He was out of there. He was like living in, who knows, Canada somewhere.
So he won championship, forgive him.
Yeah, that's what it takes. They probably even gave him a ring, right? I probably gave him a ring. I think they did. I think they gave him some ring from the championship.
Runner up.
No, no, because they won the championship. They gave him one just for you took the hit for a long time. This is your payback. That was nice. So now, okay. So another thing we talked about last time, besides that, we talked about the new rules on baseball, the new rules.
Right.
So we talked about a little bit here because there can be some pitchers that are still working it out, but we talked about the Savannah Bananas. We mentioned that a little bit. Savannah Bananas. So what do you think about the Savannah Bananas?
I think it's very entertaining. It's a very entertaining game to watch.
So now we talk about the rules now because baseball is applying new rules. Now Savannah Bananas have their own rules. What they got? What Bananas have for us?
Well, I'll start with rule number 1. Every inning counts.
So explain that.
Well, the team that gets the most runs in an inning gets 1 point.
Okay.
Okay. And the first team to get 5 points, they win the inning, right? Is that what it is?
I think they win the game.
They win the game.
In the game. So if I remember correctly, every inning is like a game.
Okay.
So you win the inning. So no matter what happens,
So
like
you win an inning, you get 1 point.
1 point, right? So
Innings over.
Innings over. Right.
Innings over.
Right. They
Right.
play either 9 innings or 2 hours, whichever one comes first. So, but what you're talking about is, so if let's say you're the Savannah Bananas and I'm the opposing team, and you score 10 runs in the first inning,
Right.
and I come from behind and I score 11,
You only get 1 point.
I only get 1 point.
But the 9th inning, you can score as many runs to catch up to win the game.
Okay, good rule. Yeah, that's it. So now our question
So if I'm
is
down 5-1,
right,
if I score
like 5 points to 1 point.
5 points to 1 point, and I score five runs in that 9th inning,
Got it.
I'm
You
on
win.
top. But the Bananas always get last licks.
Right, they're home.
They always get last lick.
So now the question is can this rule work in Major League Baseball? That's what it comes down to. Can you get these Savannah Banana rules into Major League Baseball? What do you think about that?
No, that rule would never work.
No, I don't think so either. No, I mean I know they changed the rules, they changed the game a little bit here and there, but you can't go there.
Well,
You can't go
I was
there.
telling my wife yesterday. I was telling her about the Savannah Bananas, and I was telling her they're like the Globetrotters of baseball.
Yes, they are. That's the
You know?
exactly best way to.
They
that's the best way.
entertain between innings. They have fans come out. They had the dads. What was it? The dads doing the bat thing, and
Yeah.
then they got to put a backpack on the kid, and the kid has to run home to mom.
Yeah, this is
It's
awesome.
They got the guy on the stilts.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys haven't watched it. That YouTube did a whole documentary. I mean, Netflix did a whole documentary on it, and they play on YouTube. They have their channel, their games on YouTube, so you can watch them reruns. But they also show them live on YouTube when they come up. So it is like Harlem Globetrotters. Like it's perfect way to describe it. Harlem Globetrotters of baseball with a little circus in there. They got a ringmaster. The owner, his name was Jesse Coles. I think he's the owner. He is the one with a yellow top hat and yellow suit. Banana. He looks like a banana. That's what he looks like. So all right, give me another rule. Scott. Another one.
2-hour time limit.
See now we're talking times again, which baseball is
Trying to get in.
bringing in these clocks. And so what we got with the banana? What they do with the clock?
It says if the game is tied at the end of the 2 hours, the game will go to a showdown, determine a winner.
All right. So,
Okay.
but they have a clock. First, let's start there. They have a ongoing clock.
Correct.
So, what's the time clock limit? What's the timer for? 2 hours? I think it's 2 hours.
2 hours.
So
It's
2
a
hours.
2-hour limit. Yes.
So they play for. So you're talking about shortening the game, right? They only play for 2 hours.
Right.
So, I mean, Yankees, sometimes they 4.5 hour games. And they're trying to bring them down. Hopefully, this pitch clock brings another half hour down. So now we're at 3.5. But the Bananas already playing at 2. They ain't even going past 2 hours.
No.
So now the showdown. So you say if the game ends as a tie, there's a showdown. What is that? What's a showdown?
I'll let you explain it.
The showdown. So if I remember, because I watched a little bit. Actually, there was a game last night. There was a game, but I haven't seen a showdown yet. I've seen like 2 games for the Savannah Bananas, but I haven't seen a showdown. But if I remember, the showdown
Each team picks a pitcher.
Oh, they could pick a pitcher.
Yeah.
So okay, so they got a pitcher, a batter,
A batter, catcher, and one fielder.
one guy playing defense. The whole field, just one guy playing out there.
Correct.
You know what? That setting right there reminds me back in the day of when I used to see old footage of Satchel Paige. Satchel Paige, when he used to pitch in the Negro League, he used to, they were showboat. They had a little bit of the Harlem Globetrotters in them, and he was like, I want to beat your best hitter from whatever team. So he told his outfielders to get off the field, just get off the field, and because I'm gonna strike this guy. You don't, just either get off the field or just have a picnic out there, because I'm gonna strike him out 1-on-1. So this reminds me of that kind of stuff. One fielder, one at bat, one man at the plate, and one catcher. That's all you get. So if you hit the ball,
You can run all around.
well, you can run all the way around. The guy has to go get that. Whoever this fielder is,
Got to get the ball.
got to go get the ball.
Get it back to the pitcher or the catcher as fast as you
Yeah,
can.
whoever. And the catcher should stay close to home because he got to protect the plate.
Right.
So now the pitcher's the guy who has to be out there running with the runner and trying to catch him. So that could be entertaining. So now
The pitcher's got to be the cutoff man too if it goes to the wall.
everything. So would that work out in baseball? Can that work?
Again, no.
It's a hard no. Hard no by Scott. Hard no. Yeah, I don't think so either. Like I said, I mentioned the Negro League because they did that because they were trying to get fans. So it was a show. They were trying to make a big show out of it, because they were trying to get to the majors themselves. But no, I say
You
no.
brought up
also.
Satchel Paige. How old is Satchel Paige? Does anybody
He
know?
was an
When
older. He
retired?
was like in his 50s when he joined the Major League Baseball, and I think he still got Rookie of the Year. So I don't know, some crazy stuff like that.
Nobody, I think, knew how old he was, right?
Right, no one ever gonna know. But I feel he was in his early 50s when he won Rookie of the Year. I mean, we could look that up, but that's he was an older man, still doing work. Well, but he was still not as old as Verlander. No, he was older than Verlander. He probably was older than Verlander.
Verlander again. Pitched well the other day, right? That was
What did he
Thursday
do?
Pitched 3.1 innings.
So the man can still pitch in
He
April.
won,
He
you
can
know?
still pitch in April.
Right.
And
He beat his old team.
that's always fun. That's always fun to beat your old team. So I understand that.
I think he had 5 strikeouts.
5 strikeouts, not bad for the old man. And
We'll get on him in a minute.
yeah, we'll go back to him. But now, what else? We got more rules. The Savannah Bananas have like 8 or 9 rules that so far they're not good for baseball. So far, what we're talking about, not good.
No stepping out of the box.
Ah.
If they step out of the box, it's a strike.
So now we're kind of in that moment right now where the batter's
Well, it's
stepping in the
close.
block. It's getting close, yeah. I mean, they can step
This
out.
could work.
There we
See,
go.
this
Look at
could
you.
work.
Oh, here we go. All right.
But they're only allowed to step out once now, right? So
What happens now is after the pitch, they could step out after the
Right.
pitch because the ball's going back to the catcher, and so they could step out.
But when he gets
but
into
once
the-
they get in that box
Right.
with 8 seconds, they can't come out because they only could call one time out throughout that whole at bat. But they can't get one foot out, readjust. So they still can do a little bit, and that one time out is still there. Which in Banana,
no,
nothing.
it's a no-no.
It's a no-no.
It's a no-no. Right.
So the funny thing about that I saw is a pitcher from the Savannah Bananas can actually strike someone out in like less than 10 seconds. Because they just keep throwing the ball. Catch it, throw it back. Catch it, throw it back. The guy can't step out. The guy can't even get his shit together. He just,
Who's the guy that wears the helmet? The pitcher? The invader?
There was like,
the invader?
Yeah, he was like a motorcycle helmet. You
You don't know. You never seen his face, right?
Don't know who he looks like. He's some Martian from a different country, from a different world. He comes in to pitch 90 miles an hour. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad at all. And what else we got? What other rule?
bunting?
Bunting.
No bunting. You bunt, you're thrown out of the game.
Wow, that's a tough one. That's tough. I mean, I was like
You
softball
gotta have
coach.
bunting in baseball.
Yeah, see, I was a softball coach for a lot of years, and softball, it's a big bunting game in softball. It's huge.
The bunt's good for the sacrifice, bunt. Get the runner over. You gotta have it. It's part of the game.
Yeah, you gotta have. Even though as a Yankee, we don't bunt. Like the Yankees don't know how to bunt. I don't understand that. I mean, these guys grew up playing baseball all their lives, learning how to bunt, and then when they get to the Yankees, they just don't know how to bunt anymore. I never understood that. I mean, every year we have like one guy out of the whole 40-man roster that knows how to bunt. It's like makes no sense to me. But all right, is it because can it work? Can no bunting work in the majors?
No.
No, you have
No,
to have
no,
it.
no.
You gotta. I
You
agree.
gotta have it.
I agree.
You agree with me?
I agree. I agree. I agree.
We agree on something.
We finally agree. So we agree. No doubt. I like the bunting game. I like to put the ball in play and see what happens because errors, you never know. Guy can't handle the ball. You're first. Everybody moves over. Everybody's safe. You gotta have some action.
These 2 rules I like.
Oh, we got some rules. What
I like
else?
these.
What-
Batters can steal first on a pass ball.
Yes. On a
I like
pass
it.
ball.
It brings excitement to it. They
That's-
don't have to.
Okay.
They don't have to.
Okay.
It gets passed and catcher gets it right away. They can hold back and
Okay.
continue their at bat.
Okay. So yeah.
But if the ball gets further, enough away from the catcher, they can run
gone.
it first.
It's gone.
And they can go.
So they're allowed to steal. So no matter what the count is,
Mhm.
ball pitch, you go.
Go.
So that guy. That's action.
Do you like that?
That's entertaining.
Would that work?
I think that'll work.
Me too.
I think that'll work because
too.
it's entertaining again. Swing the bat, and the catcher can't see where the ball is because you blinded him with the bat, and it goes past
Take
him.
off.
You're gone. You're a fast runner. You got it. You're a fast runner. You got a career in Major League Baseball by just doing that, stealing first.
Now, how about this one? No walks allowed.
Okay. No walks allowed.
Right.
So on ball 4, what they do?
They sprint.
They sprint.
They sprint.
Okay. So what? Okay. So they sprint. Okay. Keep going.
They sprint. They can go to first. Every player on the field has to touch the ball. Every player has to touch the ball. Every position player has to touch the ball, and the runner can advance to any base that he wants.
Okay. Okay.
What do you feel about that one?
Okay.
That means goes
Okay.
back to the pit, goes to third, hits third baseman, second baseman, shortstop.
All right.
The outfield has to run in.
Yes, they got to run in.
They got to run in.
You got to touch the ball. Makes
Right.
sense. So ball four, he's running, and then the guy's got to throw the ball around to everybody. And once the last guy gets it, then you tag wherever you are. Hopefully you get him before he gets a second or before he gets a third.
Right.
You got to get him out.
Right. You gotta get him out.
Do I like that rule? That's
good for
that's a tricky
banana.
one to me.
Majors? No.
See,
See? Majors, no.
yeah,
But for banana ball,
it works.
it works. It works.
for
It works.
banana ball.
You know, it works for banana ball. You know.
I'm a little in the fence on that one. Do I like it?
You'd like to see that in the majors? That every player on the field has to touch? Don't you think it'll turn into a little circus?
It will. It will. So you know when it comes to stuff like that, like I don't mind it being like an extra inning stuff. Something just somewhere, just
Right.
throw it in there for an extra inning just to keep the game going. A wild pitch, yay. So bring in a reliever who's throwing 100 miles an hour but has no control. Hey, we got something here now. You know,
Right.
these guys are running
Right.
bases now. You know, that brings
You
excitement
can
to
tie a game real quick.
I love it.
Go ahead, you know.
Something to think about. So I'm
Yeah,
not gonna say
absolutely.
I'm not a hard no on that one, but I'm not.
I know where you're coming
yeah,
from.
you know,
I know where you're coming from.
I feel something could be there, but not now. Not now.
Players are gonna start running into each other, like the Keystone Cops or
Oh
something.
God, yeah, you don't want that either. Yeah, so I got to think about that one.
All right,
What else we got?
You got no mound visits.
Ah,
From
okay.
the coach, catcher,
Okay.
or any other players, they cannot go to the mound and talk to the pitcher. The pitcher has to keep going. He has to throw that ball.
I like
They
that.
don't want because you're on a 2-hour time limit. You know.
I like that.
You know, that slows up the game.
Yes.
You know, they go over there and see how we're gonna pitch this guy. You know.
So right now they kind of go into that because they have a mound visit clock, like counter, I guess, right? You only allow a certain amount of visits right now as it is because they trying to cut that out. So that might be something that might go into the majors and no mound
Might.
visits. What do you think? Would it work?
It would work, but I don't think the players would go for it. You know, you got to settle down a pitcher sometimes. You know, how many times you see, the manager comes out or the pitching coach comes out, and
Yes.
then he talks to the pitcher, settles him down, and he gets that next out.
That's true. Or
So-
even the catcher. The catcher
Or the
also,
catcher,
because
yeah.
they're now on the same
Right.
page or who this batter's coming to be.
Right.
So all right, that's something.
This is your favorite one.
Oh, what you got? Which one is this?
If a fan catches a foul ball, it's an out. You can be part of the game.
I love that. Yeah, I kind of like that. I kind of like.
Now, how would that work in the majors? How would that work?
Yeah, something there for an extra innings again. See, I'm back to the extra innings situation.
Right.
You know,
Okay.
Because we don't want to be there for 15 innings. So if the last inning comes in, we're in 11th inning. Or 10th inning comes in. Hey guys, put your gloves on.
Right.
We're gonna help our home team get out of here.
Right?
I kind of like that as a fun rule. Extra innings.
So
you know?
we've seen it happen one time.
Oh damn!
With the Cubs, the Cubs and them all.
That World
What
Series?
was that? Yeah, it was the World Series.
Oh, what was it? Playoff.
It was the pennant.
Yeah,
It
yes,
was
yes,
the
yes,
The
yes,
National
yes.
League Championship Series, I think
That's
it
right.
was.
That's right.
And that guy,
Yes.
he was gonna come
It was a
over
foul
and-
ball. It was a foul ball.
A Lou, right? Or was it a Lou that was gonna catch it?
Yes, I think it was.
It was
Yes,
a little,
he was
yeah.
pointing over there.
Pointing at the guy, and the
Yeah.
people start throwing their beers and peanuts.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, they escorted him out.
That guy got.
They did a documentary on him.
Yeah, I think he had it worse than Bill Buckner. I think he had it worse. I think he had it a lot worse than him.
And I think that's the year the Marlins went on to win the World Series.
Oh, the Marlins win the World Series that year.
Which time?
Oh,
They beat the Yankees.
yes,
right?
they did, and I was there
Once or
too.
twice did they beat
I
the
was.
Yankees?
Listen, that game I was there by myself. I was by myself because the Cubs was supposed to go to the World Series, so a lot of Cub fans bought tickets, and then they put them on eBay because the Cubs got bumped out, and then I was able to get a bleacher seat for those, and that was Game 6. I had tickets for Game 6 and 7, and I hated that because I saw Pudge. He was the catcher for the Marlins.
Rodriguez?
Yeah, Rodriguez, and he caught the strike, and he went out there and kissed the pitcher out there and hugged him, and I had to leave.
Terrible, right?
I could not see that celebration at my stadium. I had to run out of there. I could not see it.
I don't want to talk about teams celebrating on our field.
Yeah,
That's another show.
yeah, that's that. Yeah, I didn't mind that celebration, but I didn't like the other stuff.
That's another show.
That's true. All right, so what else we got? That's a good rules. Those are good rules. Good rules for the Bananas. Great rules for the Bananas because that helps them become.
Well, it absolutely helps them because if I'm going to catch a foul ball, and the
Right.
Bananas are up, I'm going to drop it.
Yes, you're gonna drop your home team, right?
I'm gonna
If
drop-
you're a fan of the Bananas, you're dropping it.
Well, I think I can root for the party animals.
So now you're gonna catch it. So now you're gonna catch it, and then everybody's gonna be
If you
spitting
don't
at you.
know, the Bananas, they play the party animals most of the time.
Yeah, it's like the Senators play the Harlem Globetrotters. The same,
The New
same,
Jersey
same thing.
Generals, wasn't it?
No,
no.
Washington Generals. I think
Washington Generals.
So they play the
I
so
knew
the
it
same
was-
thing.
yeah.
So the same thing, right? They have their because they tour. They go on tour, even though
Well-
it started in Savannah Bananas, Savannah, Georgia, but now they're on tour. They're
Now
like
they're going on a
they're like a
big
world
tour.
tour. It's
They're
a
on a
big
world-
world tour
yeah.
going on right now. But one thing I want
Huge.
Yeah,
It's
they're
huge.
huge. It's hard to get tickets. You know,
Are they coming to New York?
they're not coming to New York. They come. No, they actually coming to New York. They're coming to Staten Island in August. They'll be in Staten Island in August.
Where the Yankees play?
I'm not sure
That
what
stadium?
I'm not sure where exactly. I don't have to look it up, but I know I saw because I was looking where they could be closest to us because I'm gonna try to get there eventually. But one thing about the Bananas, because there are some people who are real diehard baseball guys might not think this is baseball because it's a show, it's a circus, it's a Harlem Globetrotters, but there are some fans who have kids who want their kids to enjoy the game will take them to a Savannah Banana game because
Well,
it's more family, it's more
And they'll
family
pay
oriented.
more attention. Because
It's short-
something's always going on.
Something's always going on. Yes.
They'll pay more attention and they can sit there watch a game. Not like in the majors, you got a 5-year-old kid, and after a while, all he wants is cotton candy, and after he eats his cotton candy, and he's bouncing off the
That's true.
bleachers.
So it does help, and it can make those non-baseball fans maybe become fans. Though the parents they might hey, this is a good game. This is a real game going on, and maybe it will make them baseball fans.
Right.
But then you have other hardcore fans too. Like I'm gonna say, like my daughter, Jalen, and her roommate Sydney. They're big baseball fans, big Yankee fans, and they'll watch the Savannah Bananas. They're watching because they enjoy all the extra family functions, extra fan interactions, all that stuff. They enjoy a part of.
Right.
They enjoy that as well. So those people who are hardcore fans like them also like the game.
The next game is tomorrow night.
Oh, there is another game tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock.
Oh yeah.
You can find it on YouTube. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know. I missed that. That's good. Now, yesterday's game wasn't against the Party Animals, so that was like
No,
rare.
they played the Major League Alumni.
That was interesting.
It was interesting.
But now they're probably going to play the Party Animals again, right?
Well,
I
they
guess.
got 2 more games, I think, against the Alumni.
All right, so all right, I'm wrong then. All right, good.
They got 2 more games against the Alumni, and we'll see what happens. I
that'd
don't
be
know where
fun.
they're
That'd be
playing.
fun.
We'll see what happens.
That's awesome. All right, so let's talk about let's bring it back to real baseball now. The real was why we're here. We're Met Yankee guys,
All right, so
and one of the things that we did not talk about last show is our
Pitching
pitching
staff?
our pitching rotation. A little bit of I know it's a 40-man roster. There's a lot of pitchers out there who are trying to get in. They're
Right.
trying to get in, but we do have a predicted rotation. And as you know, it's already changing. It can change already because of spring training, people get hurt, and already I got some injuries. I don't know what you got. You got any?
he got an injury.
So
Jose Quintana.
I'm saying,
He's hurt, but he's out for probably 4 to 6 weeks. But with a pitcher, they say it can be a longer injury because I guess you're moving every part of your body when you're delivering that pitch to the mound. So it could be a little bit longer. He has his rib,
oh,
slight fracture on his on his left side.
got fracture. That's
Slight
serious.
fracture, slight.
Tell me a fracture.
So they're going to bring up probably David Peterson to be the
Okay.
5th starter
All right.
for the beginning of the season.
All right. So you're definitely not going to see that guy in April. That's what it comes down to.
Doesn't look like it. No.
No, it doesn't look like it. What else you got? You got someone else who's injured?
No,
Or,
no.
but who's your predictive rotation? What is it? What is
Well,
rotation?
with Quintana or without Quintana?
Without him.
without
What
him?
do you see right now? How do you see it right
We
now?
got Scherzer.
Okay, yeah.
We got
He's the number one.
Verlander.
So he's your number 1, 2. That's your 1,
He
2
should
guy
be the
there.
number 1 because he was with the club last year.
So okay, so what else you have? Well, what's your first? Yes, Verlander and no, Verlander's your second.
Yeah,
Scherzer's
Scherzer,
your one.
Verlander, Carrasco.
Oh, great, Carrasco.
Then you're gonna have Cody Senga,
Okay,
and then David Peterson will probably be in the 5th spot.
all right. So that's your 5 right now
That's
because
our
of your
five-man
injury.
rotation.
Because of your injury. So how does your bullpen look? What you got in the bullpen?
Well, we'll start off with Adam Ottavino. They re-signed him.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Adavino's okay. We signed him. Good.
He
okay.
could close. He could set up.
Nice.
Okay.
Good to have that. All right.
He was very productive last year for them.
Okay. Good.
Coming out of the bullpen. Then you got right-hand pitcher, of course, who's going to close it is Edwin Diaz.
Yeah, Diaz.
Uh,
Yeah, Diaz.
Tyler McGill, that can go long, you know.
Okay, so long relief.
Long relief. Drew Smith,
Okay.
Zach Green, and did I say Brooke Rowley?
You know, no,
Left-hand
no.
pitcher.
Okay.
So, you know, the bullpen is looking tight.
Nice.
It's looking good.
Nice.
You know.
Oh, that's good. I mean, health. You know, so at every team, it's about health. It's about being healthy. That's what it comes down to. You know, we the Yankees ourselves. We had our bullpen last year that was solid, and then,
Right.
then Michael King goes down, and everything changes.
Right.
It's how it goes.
Right.
Our rotation is Garrett Cole. We got him still. And we did have Carlos Rodon. You know, he was there for a minute, and he's still on the team, but now he's injured. He has like some left forearm strain.
Mhm.
So, you know, just like that, a 1-2 hit, it's not there no more.
Right.
Severino, he's been every year since he's been getting hurt. So I don't really trust him to last a whole season either. When he does come in, he's been showing glimpse of greatness. But then something happens. Strain here, strain there, it's gone. So as of right now, he's in the starting rotation. And then you have Herman. Domingo Herman, who another guy who wasn't there last year as well. Then he came in, and it was a big surprise when he came in how good he was. So hopefully he continues that into this season as well. Now, because we lost Rodon, we had Clark Schmidt, who was in the fence of that fifth spot, whether he's going to be our fifth on the rotation or not. But now because Rodon is gone, Schmidt slides right in there as our fifth starter, which is nice. Good for him. You know, hopefully he can prove himself. And we did lose some. We signed Tommy Canley. We signed him, but now he's hurt. He has some bicep tendonitis.
Okay.
He's going to be gone with Lou Trevino, who's another guy who did decent, and he has a mild elbow ligament sprain. So all these things are happening already. You know, we didn't start yet, and our bullpen. So now that weakens our bullpen to me. That's what that does. But they never tell us how bad these injuries really are. They always say day to day or 2 weeks, whatever. They just throw numbers at us just to not bring it up anymore.
Right.
But these guys could be gone for more than just April. They could be gone for months. Who knows? And when they come back, they have to do the little rehab, and that might not go out. And then something else happens.
Right.
It's just so. So that's what the 40-man rotation, and you got you still got your spring training team out there that's going to bring in pitchers who are showing their thing right now.
And who's closing for you?
Well, Holmes was the closer, in and out last year. So now that spot is his.
Okay.
So can he do it? Can he be our main closer?
A lot of pressure coming on.
It's a lot of pressure.
There's a lot of pressure.
So that should be our closer right now. That's going to be our closer. So that's not so bad. Not so bad.
You know, Diaz had a great year last year. He had a 1.31 ERA.
Great year.
You know,
He did have a great year, no doubt about it. He had a great year. You know, we missed
62
that.
innings
We missed
pitched.
that. Well, we've ever left. We haven't had that back since we've ever left.
yeah, 62 innings pitched. You know, and Brooke Rowley, he had a decent ERA, 2.68. Ottavino, he had a 2.06 ERA.
Nice,
You know, with 65 innings pitched.
nice.
You know, so
No, those are good numbers.
those are decent numbers.
Those are good numbers. No, good numbers.
Drew Smith, 3.33 ERA. He had 46 innings pitched. So
All right, you got some good. Yeah, well, all they had to do is continue this, right? Because you had a great
Well,
year last year.
it's a new season.
Then
You know,
it starts zero now. Everybody
Right.
starts with zero again.
right.
But it's always good to see what you had, so you know what you should expect. You know, because everybody does at the end of the season. You know, match up to their back of their baseball card. They always say. You know, so
Right.
So you know what you kind of should be expecting, and if no injury, you should get that. You should get that back.
Right.
The
The weak part of that is right now Tyler McGill. I believe
okay.
he was a rookie last year, but his ERA was 5.13.
All right. Well, and that when it comes to the ERAs, yeah, like you look at right now,
It could be right.
like even right now when they're in spring training, like I saw Schmidt had like a 9 ERA. You know, I mean, they don't matter. They don't count right now, especially with everybody trying to work out these rules.
No,
you know,
I know.
So we can't look at
Just
that.
bringing up some numbers.
Yeah.
Some numbers.
Some numbers. You got good numbers, man. You got a team who had over 100 wins. You got good numbers. You're gonna have good know how you look at it.
They're gonna be good in April, right?
Well, April they're gonna be good. Yes. Then after
That's
April,
why I brought this.
then what you
brought this.
brought?
I
What
brought
you
this.
brought here? What you
I
got?
brought you my old Rico
Ah,
Brownie
here we
shirt,
go.
man.
Wait, what is this?
You didn't even see me sneak it in,
Ah,
did you?
yeah,
There it
I
is.
did not.
I think
Listen,
it'll fit you.
listen, listen. I'm not putting that on. Listen, stop
You
that.
told me that.
No, I'm not putting it. That's not part of it. I'm not doing that. First, I'm not gonna have to. I'm not gonna have to because we're not gonna even though we have these injuries. Even I heard Harrison Bader got like an oblique injury now. He won't even start. In the center field is open now. So Peraza, Cabrera could definitely come in there and play the outfield. So he could show Hicks how it's done. But let's see. We'll see what happens. But even with Rodon, or even with these little injuries, Trevino not being there, doesn't matter. The Yankees will have a better April than the Mets.
We'll see.
That's how I'm looking at it.
That's all I can say is we'll see.
We will.
I think it'll be close, So we're going to go by win percentage,
Well, with wins and losses, right? Better record.
Well, if the
better
Yankees
record.
played 2 more games on the Mets, it's win.
All right, fine, fine. We'll do the math. We get it right. We'll be fair. We'll be fair about it. So we want to talk about WBC a little bit, didn't you? The WBC.
I've been watching a few games.
I have not been watching. I have not. But which one of your Mets are in the WBC? Do you know which one of your Mets are in?
McNeil, Alonso, and Lindor, off the top of my head.
Okay, good.
You guys?
I know Strohan was one, right? You're one of your pitchers.
Strohan, yeah, he's playing for the Puerto Rican team.
Right.
He pitched yesterday.
Now, how you doing?
Yes, he did good.
Okay, good.
Well, he was this MVP in the last one.
Yes, and last year he didn't play for Puerto Rico though.
No.
Who he played for last year?
United States.
United States. And I know that some people think, hey, he played for U.S. last year and now he played for Puerto Rico. How you do that?
What was it? 3 years ago? 4. Was it
Oh yeah, right. They do it every like 4
4
years. I
years,
think it's 4
4
years. So yeah, he could do that because why? Because he's Puerto Rican, but Puerto Rico's part of the United States, so you can play for the U.S. or Puerto Rico.
Yeah, but I don't. I was looking, at the players like for the Italy team and this and that.
Yeah.
I looked at who did I look up last night? I forgot. I forgot.
Well,
who I-
like Piazza, for example. Piazza, he's the
Right.
manager of the Italian team.
Right.
So if he were to play, he could play for U.S. If he was a player, he could play for
Could he
U.S.
play for the Italian team though?
He could. Now,
Because he's Italian descent. Or?
yes, because first generation, like his parents your parents have to be born there. It's almost like they have the rules of the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
Like if your parents are born in that country, then you can represent that country.
Right.
Now your kids can't because you were born here. So whatever kids you have, they can't. But if your parents were from there, you definitely can represent. So that's how the WBC is being run as well, which is fine. It's fine. So that way, a Puerto Rican like Strohan, he can represent Puerto Rico 1 year and 4 years later U.S. So that's not.
See who has the better team.
You can negotiate a little bit here. Check the roster out. I'll let you know. Show me the roster. I'll get back to you. That's what you can say. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. Now Yankee wise, I'll try to look at what Yankees. I know that Nestor, Nasty Nestor, was supposed to pitch, but he had a little hamstring, so he stayed out. And the Yankees said, "No, you're not going nowhere. You're staying here because we gotta make sure you're good for us."
Right.
And that's another thing because we get nervous about that.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Especially pitchers.
Especially
pitchers. Are they pitching 5-6 innings in the tournament, and then, they should be throwing 3 innings?
Yeah.
What's their pitch count? Do the other managers for the World Baseball Classic? Do they,
Yeah.
Do they over?
Do they care?
Yeah, exactly. Do they care? Do they over?
Do they care where you're coming from? I mean, they're gonna be selfish.
Right.
They're gonna be selfish. They're gonna represent their country. They're like, don't worry about your Mets. Don't worry about your Mets. You're playing for your country. Jeez, you put you in a position like that, which is not fair. But that's what they do. That easily can be done. And so you got 2 things going on. You got pitchers who can't overwork themselves,
Saturate themselves.
and then you have pitchers who are not getting used to the pitch clock either, because there's no pitch clock in the world in WBC. So that's another thing. Like, you got to get used to how your timing and how you're going to play this new rule that we got going. But here you are.
Right. The Cody Senga, he decided he wasn't going to pitch for Japan. He wanted to stay in the Mets camp.
That's a good move. That's a good move. First, because it's the first year too with them, and the ball is different in Japan. I think it's smaller. I believe it's smaller. So you want to get really used to how to pitch and how to hold, how to grip. So that's the right move. That's a smart move.
Right.
I agree all the way about that. Well, I mean, I think I have Jonathan Loizaga. He's also, and Gleyber Torres. They're out there, and Higashioka. They're all playing in the WBC. So those guys are not getting these new rules in them, and they could be out there getting injured. Who knows? Which is going to affect
hurt your team.
It's going to affect my bet. That's what it's going to affect. It's going to affect my bet in April if they can't play.
Now there's stipulations in the contracts. I'm sure the players wouldn't let it. So if you get hurt,
Well, like if you get hurt, you don't get paid.
No.
I think they let that go, for this because it's organized.
Take a percentage out.
But that's it. Every contract could be different. That's right. I don't know. I'm not sure about those.
I'd be pissed off if my starting freaking shortstop, is out 6 months because he has a pulled hamstring.
Oh yeah, I don't agree. Totally agree. Yeah,
especially if I'm the owner and I got to pay him.
Yeah, you got to pay him right. He's not going to play because he represents his country somewhere else. No, these are all things that thank God there's only once every 4 years. That's what it comes down to. You don't have to deal with this every year. That'd be the worst thing ever as an owner.
Why don't they do it in the off season?
Well,
do it in the off season. Go down and instead of having the games in Florida, because some of the games are in Florida. I think the other half is in Japan.
Okay.
So just do it down in the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
And do it in the off season.
Yeah. No, actually, they have winter.
So if somebody
winter
does
workouts.
get hurt, it gives them time to heal.
Yeah. No. Yeah. And that would make sense, especially if it once in 4 years do it, because right now they go in Puerto Rico to play in the winter leagues anyway as it is there, so they're playing out there.
Well, I get it that they want to, you want to represent your country.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
But
just move it to the all season.
All season.
That works for me. I'm good with that. That works for me. So now let's talk about this bet again. One more time with this bet.
All right. Here we go again.
Because you bought the jersey out, the shirt
It's
out
a t-shirt.
there. It's a T-shirt.
Right.
It's a T-shirt, which I'm not gonna wear that. But it's still on. Even I'm gonna stand by. Even with all these little injuries that are creeping up, because every day I think you're gonna hear another injury, someone with another back or oblique.
Right.
That's how it is. So no matter what,
Cody Sanger, he's
matter
out
what.
because he's got some strain in his finger.
Yeah.
He's got a finger injury.
So we're not gonna take that into consideration. That's done. The bet is a bet. Whatever happens in April, that's gonna end in April. Whatever.
You're not trying to back out.
I'm making sure that we are on the same page where it doesn't matter who gets injured or what team is gonna be looking like in April. That's the bet. The bet is April. So April. The winner of April. The
Season
winner
starts
of April.
March 30th to April 30th.
The winner of April. That's the one who has to treat the next person, the other one, to their game. That's all good.
Hot dogs.
Hot dogs. You gotta get your
Nachos.
hot dog. Yeah.
Nachos. Beer.
Beer. Hot dogs. Yeah, we can do it all. Do it all. That sounds good to me.
Bring
right?
your wallet. Bring your American Express card.
You got it. Yeah. Yankees accept MasterCard. Yes. That's what Yankees are all about. They're home of MasterCard over there. They got good deals with MasterCard. So that's what we're doing. All right. So that's our show. That's our show this time. Not bad. Got a good show. And stay tuned, because we're going to keep bringing it to you guys. And we bring it to you.
Yeah, we enjoy doing this. I hope you enjoy listening.
Yeah. Got some subscribers already, which I was aiming for one. I think we got more than one, which is beautiful. We got a better camera now, too. Look at that. We're already evolving. Awesome.
Right.
So, until next time, Scott, say your goodbyes.
Let's go Mets.